Welcome to Everforward Radio. My name is Maxx Chewning, and I'm a business owner and a social media personality. Today on the show, you're going to hear about some struggles with my businesses, how I take stress and use it as a motivator, and what really drives me forward. Enjoy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Everforward Radio. I'm your host, Chase Chewning, and well, today you get two Chewnings. I had the privilege of sitting back down with my brother, Maxx Chewning, for the third time, I believe, here on Everforward Radio. It's always a pleasure to sit down with family, and this one was especially memorable and enjoyable for me because my brother has just been an incredible example of what it means to not only live a life ever forward, but in fitness, nutrition, and in business. And especially in today's interview, you're going to learn what he has been going through as a business owner, what he has been going through as a young man, growing on social media, now growing two businesses, multiple businesses into multiple seven figures, and well, the overwhelm and the stress and the toll that comes with it. But you're going to hear how his mindset around it all is what keeps him driving on. He is an incredible example of what is possible when you decide to not only take action, but to take consistent action and to foster a community along the way. You're going to hear about how one of his biggest markers for success is actually not only making sure that he can maintain his livelihood, but being able to create jobs and opportunities and success for other people. Like I said, I was sitting down with my brother in Houston, Texas for this interview, and true to little brother form, he's always interested in what big brother has to offer. And I was snacking on one of these guys and caught his attention because he's a snacker. If you follow him, you will definitely realize that. But he was just really blown away with what I was eating. Of course, I'm packing the 100% grass-fed beef steaks from Paleo Valley. They are today's sponsor. Thank you so much, Paleo Valley, for not only giving me something that is so safe and nutritious and grab and go and easy to take with me, that I can get a good amount of protein. But more importantly, what's not in this. No nitrates, no sulfates, only ever grass-fed and grass-finished beef, gluten-free, flavored with sea salt, naturally fermentation process, and well, whether you're getting teriyaki or original, or I think Max was really kind of fond of the garlic summer sausage. So if you want something that is Team Chewning approved and you would like to save money on your new favorite protein snack, well, head to paleovalley.com and use checkout code EverForward. That's paleovalley.com. Checkout code EverForward to save 15% off of your favorite new snack, these 100% grass-fed beef sticks. All right, I'm probably gonna take one of these and go snack right now. Welcome to the video.
3, 2, 1.
All right, yeah, it's real.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. These new jeans are very like LA tight, so I'm gonna get a little squishy
the holes
here.
and stuff.
Yeah, just don't understand fashion like I do. Well, welcome back, man.
What's up, dude?
You were my second ever three-peat guest on the show.
First ever brother, too. So,
First ever brother that we know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else out there claim fame to Chewning, let me know. I'll get you on the show as well. So you've been on 2018, 2019.
This is number 3.
This is number 3. 2020, we all took a break.
Yeah.
And in 2020, like a lot happened, despite the whole pandemic, all that stuff. But with you specifically, you had so many things just go through the roof, personally, professionally. Looking back now the last year, what would you say, what has been your biggest accomplishment and biggest learning curve from the last year?
I guess if I had to sum all of it up, it'd be probably the fact that I've taken on more of a leadership role with a lot of hiring employees. So we started a lot of brands, and a lot of the stuff kind of evolved, and I felt I got to the point that a lot of people they tell you it ahead of time of like, hey, start delegating, start hiring people, and you're like, no, I can keep doing it, and I finally got to the point where, I went from one employee to really 4 or 5 full-time, and then we have a lot of contractors. So just, I guess becoming a leader, better leader, has probably been the biggest thing that the past year has taught me.
Did you know that was this? All right, I've got to become more of a leader. I have to step more into a leadership position versus just kind of running a company, because there's management and then leadership.
Yeah, it just kind of like happened with a lot of it. So that's the thing that I'm struggling the most with leadership is actually realizing that, when I talk to someone, they're like listening to me as if like I'm their boss, and I'm like,
You are the boss.
Yeah, no, I literally am. Because normally it's just been kind of like, hey, can my friends kind of help me pack orders, or can my friends like help me do this one thing? It was just kind of like a helpful thing, and now people are relying on me to. I guess the biggest thing is that the shift into people relying on me for their safety, right?
Livelihood.
Yeah. So having people being employed through me has been just a big shift, and it's still a struggle for me, because I've talked to you about how in the weeks I need to start having like meetings and all this stuff, and it's hard because like the more and more you grow, what I try to do is I try to make sure that the people who work with me and the people that are on my team never experience any of the lameness that I felt when I worked in like the corporate world, or like felt any sort of worry whenever the boss would come and talk to them or something, because you kind of feel that you're like, oh, did I do something?
How do you do that? I mean, because there has to be, I'll make an assumption, there has to be like the hierarchy, right? There has to be leader and subordinates. There has to be manager and employees, or else the machine would kind of crumble, right? So how do you go about that?
I'm learning. I mean, there's a lot of different levels. There are certain situations that have come up where like, it's all kind of like, fun and games. Like you understand your role in this company, in this brand, and how you're assisting all of us growing. And then, it's like when a mistake happens, it's like, okay, like, hey, let's fix this. But then there's been a couple times where a couple extra mistakes have been happening, or repeated mistakes where
by my team,
and I kind of have to flip a little bit of a switch, and not to be, turn into this like ass guy, but I need to be like, look, we need to get serious. Like this is like, you're messing up. Like we need to figure out why this is happening. And a lot of it again is I put it back on me, because I feel a lot of times when there are errors or people mess up, it's maybe because I'm not doing my role as a leader to instruct them the best way to handle certain situations. And I just kind of was like, hey, here's your task, like figure it out as you go. And, I'll talk to you in a couple weeks, Yeah,
we were talking earlier. I've been here visiting for a couple of days, and we've been talking about a lot of things. And one of them was just what you were saying of, I think that I need to step into more of a leadership role. I think I need to have more meetings. I need to do these things that, a growing company is supposed to do. And what I heard in that, and what you were just describing, is you're really taking ownership of, you're recognizing and taking ownership of the seriousness of it all for your livelihood and for your now businesses. I don't think we mentioned it, but the new addition since your last time on the show, Sour Strips, this incredible candy company.
It's all like, I think the biggest thing I struggle with on a lot of the levels is because I try to be friends and friendly with all my employees and stuff, and you have to kind of establish the relationship and understand where it all lies. But also, I kind of have like three businesses, right? I have like the clothing, I have the candy, and then I have myself as like my
personal brand.
And that's like my business, my personal business, And when the employees are working and doing all their things, and I'm like, hey, I got to go film today, and then I make these videos that are on brand with me, but it's just me.
But it seemingly has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah, acting like a jackass, but like kind of like the humor and the quirkiness. Yeah. I'm always like, man, like, do I need to like, is this what like a boss, like the type of content they should be making? But I'm like, that's me. But then there's times where I need to switch and be like, hey, like we need to focus, like we need to like do more work output, and I'm just trying to find that balance of I guess I was worried that a lot of the employees are gonna, see YouTube Max and not take it as serious as like,
like this guy's trying to tell me what to do. Look, he's being a jackass.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm, it's kind of a thing that I fell into. I didn't really plan on having a multiple employees. I kind of was always going to be like, I'll just be like a one-man team and see how far I can take it. And
so you're running like three things, like you just said. Do you feel like there really is a balance, or do you find yourself kind of, all right, today I got to pour all into one bucket and the other two need to take back burner kind of thing?
I think no matter what, it's a hard way to try to find like what is most important, because they're all valuable.
True.
But I guess my number one priority is doing whatever it takes to ensure the success of my team. And because of that, I need the businesses to grow. So they all have their factor, the clothing and the candy and the personal brand, because again, my personal brand is a huge contributor to the success of the other brands. Not 100%, and some businesses more than other, but that is part of what grows the brand. So that is very important as well, even though it's not directly tied in a lot of people's eyes. It's very important. So yeah, I don't really structure my days out of, hey, this is going to be just a sour shift day, or this is going to be just a clothing day, or just a YouTube filming day. There's always, with any startup, and especially when you're trying to run multiple things, I think you're always juggling, and sometimes I got to drop the ball on one so I can continue juggling in this other aspect of the business. And it's tough. And I've talked to you about how I'm not a very organized person, and I don't have a calendar. I don't have schedules. I feel like I'm one of those, I think it was Lil Wayne that said it, that a lot of rappers write down their lyrics, right? They go in the studio, they have their BlackBerry with side scroll, Drake reference. He lost that down in Cabo. If anyone gets that reference, they're a Drake fan. But Lil Wayne, for example, he always said, he's like, I don't write down my rhymes. He's like, I just go in the booth and spit, right? I feel like I'm Lil Wayne, you spit
a lot?
No, yeah, I really do. I watch my videos. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but what I'm saying is I just have this this madness that goes on in my brain, and I don't put any of it down. I don't have to-do lists. I don't have daily tasks, weekly tasks, monthly tasks, weekly goals, monthly goals. I
was asking you all these things earlier as we're just been driving around, and my kind of entrepreneur business brain and just how I am in general. I am very you look at my calendar. I have walk the dog, lunch, meeting, call, every day. And then I go by that, and I'll look at analytics and stuff here and there. But for me, routine and discipline and schedule is how I make it. And I would ask you these questions, and you were just like, I don't know. But then we would talk about things, and it would all come out. So it is all there. It's just, it literally is all there and not anywhere
else. My brain's
else.
like a pretzel. I feel like it's because it goes back to, I never wanted someone else to tell me what to do.
Sure, yeah.
And I didn't want to, when I worked the corporate job where I had to be at the office for these amount of times. And what's funny is now I spend my entire day at the office, and I guess if I had a structure, then it would drive me crazy, because if something deviated from the structure that was written on the piece of paper, then I'd be even more stressed out than it just, but obviously I don't write anything down, so I forget a lot of things.
Because if it's up here, then it doesn't, not to say it's not real, but they're maybe seemingly less
I can't hold myself as accountable as much because it's not written on paper.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, I don't want this piece of paper to tell me what to do. And again, it's not a good way. I don't say it in a way of oh, this is I'm so cool because I don't need schedules. And I look at my friend Christian, and he's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And he is now super organized structure, has all these apps that show that how it talks to the team, and has these folders and folders and folders, and organization.
I haven't seen it without an iPad doing something in the last year, some kind of.
And I've tried.
Schedule.
There was even a time phase when I went through with Mona, who's my right hand, and even in just the iPhone Notes app, you can share notes, right? And you can put to-do list, and you can because she was always like, hey, because every day I'd come to the office, I'd be like, oh man, there was something I was going to ask you to do, and I can't remember. And this happens every single day. And she was like, well, why don't you just write them down when you're thinking about them? I was like, yeah, but I just don't do that. So I was like, okay, I'll write to-do lists, and it would sync between her. Mm-hmm. So whenever she knew things that she wanted me to get her to do or needed help on.
And then of communication.
And then I just slowly lose that, because I'm just I don't like it. There's a lot of apps that would, I don't know. It's going to be something that, it's kind of like Max has to want to do it on his own time when he's ready.
Yeah.
I'm like a child. And
it's the fundamentals of behavior change. The person has to be wanting and ready to do the thing that everybody else around them knows is probably, or not to say knows is better, but just everybody's kind of hoping for in a way. Yeah.
Well, I think you get locked into this mindset of it's working for me, and it's been working like this for so long, and if I deviate, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. You always assume it's not going to immediately get better. It's kind of like empowering employees. People told me all the time, hire. I remember before I hired my operations manager and my social media manager, I was sitting at dinner at Mexican, by the way, drinking margaritas.
Go figure.
With the ghost team. I think it was Ryan, and then he was like, "Hey, like, what would you want this person to do?" I was like, "I don't know, like do the orders, blah blah blah, all this stuff." He's like, "Yes, hire them." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm thinking that's going to cost like a bunch of the money for the business, and I can save some money if I just keep doing it myself and just kind of doing some part time." He's like, "Hire them," and I was very hesitant to that, and now I look back and I'm like, "Thank God that I did that."
Yeah.
Not only because of how beneficial they are to the team and how important they are, but how much they and the companies have grown in the year and a half.
The contributions
that I'm like,
had.
thank God
Yeah.
I got them in at the ground floor, because trying to get someone in now to do that role would be such a catch-up
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you're more of a mustard guy anyway. So.
I know. I was going to make the reference. I'll try to keep it more serious.
Looking back from starting your first business, Everford Apparel, to starting your second business, Sour Strips.
Don't forget Mad Max Off-Road Customs.
That was
Actually,
remember that?
don't
I made you a cooler seat and everything.
Take it even further back, Chase. I've been an entrepreneur since I was, I don't know, 8 years old.
8, slinging.
Well, I got gumballs.
Yeah,
I got the gumball machine
yeah.
we put in the coffee shop.
That's
and,
right.
And every week or something, Dad and Rhonda would we would take all the quarters
Stack the
out, and
quarters.
we'd put 4 rows of $1, so a stack of 4 quarters, 4 quarters, 4 quarters, 4 quarters, and then you just go down in the columns.
Yeah.
And then I was allowed to keep 1 column, and the other 3 had to it went into my savings.
And then 1, I think, went back to replenish the gumballs.
Yeah. And then one time, I think Dad, I think he actually broke the key, and we had to break the gumball machine to get the quarters out.
Yeah.
And then we just never got another gumball machine.
So quite literally, I mean, our dad was an entrepreneur, and I think that's where I guess you can make the argument that we get a lot of our entrepreneur kind of mindset or just initial ideas, because we are both self-employed. You've been doing it a couple of years longer than I have, but yeah, way back to just a few years old, you have had this mentality, or you got some kind of reward for, hey, I put in effort, I get something back. I put in effort, I get something back. How has that kind of played a role? And I had another question I was starting, but I'll get to it later. How do you think that's played a role? If you take that lens, right, of I put in effort, I get something back. I put in effort, get something back. Like, how would you look through that lens in your life? Was that your main driving force in like everything, or is it only when you look at business? Because I think someone who has an entrepreneur mindset, it has to spill over into like all areas of their life, right?
I feel like I go down this path of just, I stumble onto something and I happen to not like be a wizard at it, but I happen to start doing well at it. And
I'll give you accolade. Absolutely. Everything I've seen you do for the 31 years I've known you, you're great at.
Well, so what I mean directly is like when I find like one specific thing where I'm like, I start seeing any sort of, I'm excelling at it on any
Right.
level, on even a small percentage. I just kind of like, oh, I guess I should just keep trying to do this one thing. And then I start getting a little bit better at it. And then I guess I always try to not be the best at a certain craft, but I think throughout my entire life, I'm someone who's, you look at me from outside like a business owner, and you're like, oh, I'm really good at business or something like that. But I internally, I don't really feel like I'm good at a lot of things. Like I think
what do you feel you're good at?
in crafts, like I can't play any instruments.
Okay.
I don't have any.
You tried. Remember the piano? Yeah.
No, I can't play instruments. I don't play any sports. Like I don't. And I've always seen people that are really, really good at something. It's like I tried, skateboarding when I was a kid. I was like, I would do some kickflips and stuff, but there's everyone else who's just like excelling way faster than me. And I was like, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't excel as fast as these other people were doing it. So when I started finding like just little things that I was like a little bit better than other people, not in like I'm so much better than them, but when I just was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. Like when
in other things, not so much, but in these other things, yeah.
Yeah, I just started doubling down on the few things that I was really good at. It goes back from when I worked on Jeeps and, and when I learned to weld, and like none of my other friends could do that. And I was like, oh, like, it's not that hard. Like, why can't you guys figure this out? And then like I started like doing it more, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting good at this. Yeah. And then I started going down this path of getting obsessed with working on cars or Jeeps specifically. But I don't.
I think there's a really good lesson in there. You were talking about, well, maybe you didn't say it, but I know this because we're brothers. But you have tried so many things. You've tried sports growing up, played t-ball, baseball, soccer, a lot of things, off-roading, welding, fabricating cars, starting businesses, gumballs. I used to give you so much crap too because you would hoard all of these AOL discs, thinking, in pristine wrapped condition, thinking they're gonna be worth money someday.
Yeah.
As long as I can remember, man, you've tried so many things, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people will start. I have an idea. I'm only going to do this, and become fixated on it. And if that doesn't work, then maybe it crashes and burns, and they don't learn the lesson, and therefore that fear prevents them from trying something else. But you've tried so many things, and in doing so, you kind of have like an internal checklist of this is working for me. I'm excelling in it. No, let me move on to the next thing. What would you say to someone who maybe is not doing that, who is too afraid to try a lot of things? Maybe it's because of the fear of failure, or maybe it's just because they see somebody else who is excelling more than them. Like, how would you recommend for them to kind of try things, but just pay attention to what's working, what's not, and then just shift lanes when necessary?
I mean, you just got to keep putting your hands in as many things as possible until you find something that truly interests you. And then a lot of times, like there's always going to be people that are better than you with what you're doing, and who will do it after you've already started and will excel at it faster than you were. And it's very frustrating. And it's you have to kind of just keep laser focused on you. I mean, prime example is like even social media, man. Like it's easy for me to get jealous would be probably the word that I've used, would use, or even like, I guess like you'd have a little bit of spite because like I've been making videos for like 7-8 years, and I've done nothing but increase the quality of them, increase the storytelling, increase the production value. I feel, not in like a cocky way, I feel like I'm very entertaining. I feel like I'm funny. I'm very quick-witted, all this stuff. And then I get to the point, I'm just like, why can't I grow faster? And then I see other people that are just going at an exponentially faster rate than me, but in my head, I'm like, oh, my content's better than them, but maybe I'm just I'm full of myself. And it's easy to just see all these other people that are excelling quicker, faster than you. And you just got to be like, you know what? Everyone kind of has their little deck of cards, and you got to work with what you have. And I think the world works in an interesting way because, me being so obsessed with trying to grow my social media, when in reality, I'm like, there's probably people that have such larger social media bases, but maybe they're not optimizing it like the way that I am optimizing and growing businesses. And maybe I'm getting too addicted to the numbers and the likes, and I should be more focused on the impact I'm leaving on people and, the world. And again, one of the coolest things about the businesses that I've started is I really like employing people. I really like the fact that I grow jobs. I mean, even like you look at the candy thing and I'm like, okay, like out of nowhere, like because of what I started, I'm like, the manufacturer is now making more money and living a better thing. Like my co-packer is now living a better life because of this thing. All those supply chains, like even like the box, like because of how there's so many like things that I'm helping.
The ripple effect is
and
massive,
it's like cool. And I'm not like, oh, I'm so awesome. But the employees that I hire, like they were, a lot of the people that I hire were young. They're younger than I am, right? And they weren't really, I'm trying to word this in the right way. I don't say like they weren't doing anything, but like they didn't have like full-time jobs when I hired them. They were kind of in between. They didn't know what they wanted to do. And now I've like to say they have very secure positions. And I'm like, if I didn't start this, like I wonder what they would be doing.
Secure positions, also doing things that they love to do.
And it's cool. It's like what if this path helps them go to the next thing in their life? And you never know. They could have maybe they had a better thing if I never came along. But it's just really cool. The ripple effect is a good term for it. I don't know. That's a lot of the fulfillment that I get out of everything that I do.
I can relate, and it is a really, really great feeling. A couple months ago, I was working on a project. I told you I was down in Dallas getting this other show up and running, and we were interviewing some people for the production. And this one guy was hesitant. We were eyeing him to be the full-time, basically videographer, editor, social media curator, and he was hesitant to fully commit because he was waiting on a confirmation for this trade school that he was going to go to. And when I asked him, well, what is it? Is that more of your passion? Long story short, he was like, was going to be my backup. I was going to go get this trade school vocational certificate as a backup to help me pay the bills for freelance videography. And I just looked at him and I go, do you want to put what you want most in life on hold to go work on plan B? or you can join us right here, right now, and do plan A. And it was just amazing to see literally in his eyes. He was just, oh, like my dreams are coming true right now. Like I can do what I want to do. And that's a powerful thing. It's really, really cool. And what's even cooler is that he gets to do what he wants to do most in the world. And I was doing what I want to do most in the world at the same time. So when that can happen together, it's really, really powerful. Where do you think that comes from for you? Why is helping other people, why is seeing that feedback from them like so impactful for you?
Because I think I had this super big internal fear of letting people down, and I like the weight. I like the weight that it carries, although it's stressful, of that people rely on me and I can't let them down, and I need to succeed because
It's like a positive pressure.
yeah, and you know, every day when I'm deciding, I'm just going to lay on the couch and watch TV or something. And there's always something you can be doing in the business, but I'm like, maybe I should just kind of relax. And I'm like, the future of what a lot of people's livelihood relies on my efforts. I mean, it's a team effort, but on the big picture thing, I'm the one they're looking to guide them to the next level, to how they can make more money, how they can live a better life. And it's like, I love and hate that pressure because it's scary every single day because, and especially when I start hiring more people, I'm like, wow, this is not only another cost on my end, but it's another person that is now giving me their faith of like
Another responsibility.
Yeah, they're like, hey, like, I hope this really works out. And so every day I try to not let people down, and not fail them when I say, I guess in my head, whenever someone is hesitant in my head, I just want to be like, just bet on me and I will take you to success. Like, just bet on me. If you're unsure on anything, just trust in myself that I will do everything in my power to make sure that you succeed. And you know, I don't ever directly say this to people, but it's what I think internally. And I don't know, it's a big stress. The more and more employees that you have, the more stress I think it brings, but it's a lot of fulfillment as well.
There's this phrase I've been coming up with. I think I'm going to have to trademark because it sounds like it's going to stick. Mo money, mo problems.
Mm-hmm.
Trademark.
Yeah.
Chase Chewning 2021.
It's true, man.
Do you have that same conversation with yourself? Do you have the same level of trust and devotion and bettingness on yourself as you are trying to instill in other people?
I do, but I think, and I'm going to say this, I think every entrepreneur thinks it, but like, I wake up every day worried that my businesses are going to crumble and fail. I have that worry in the back of my head that any given time, something in the supply chain can crumble and it can be a catastrophic turn of events. And I always like to think I'm betting on myself and I can't fail, I can only learn. But when you get to a certain level, you can only have so many learning experiences when it starts having a ripple effect downward. You know, it's not having a ripple effect in a good way. It's a bad way.
What lesson did we learn today? We're bankrupt.
That's
the lesson we learned.
And it's just like the bigger you grow also is the more that your actions have reactions, right? So the things that I do and say as a business owner that has employees have effects on the business now, and the bigger that it gets. So I need to be careful with what I do, what I say. Not that I like do a bunch of bad things and say a bunch of bad things, but now I need to be even more conscious about the way that I'm saying things, thinking about before I come out, so it doesn't come out differently than what I kind of am trying to get across. But I like to think that I bet on myself and I believe in myself, and I do. But I think any business owner can relate that the thought of your business collapsing is like always in the back of your head. And some people are like, oh no, but every day, whenever I have like one single setback, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is it. This is the one.
One order returned. We're out.
It's kind of every day is
like.
It's like when you're flying in a plane and you have that little bit of turbulence, right? And you're like, oh crap. And then you look around and then the flight attendant, she's like sitting down and buckling in her seat, and you're like, this is the one I'm going down on.
They never sit down like that.
Yeah, it's happening on this one. That's how I feel every single day. And I don't know if the thrill.
Let me text mom, love you.
Yeah, I don't know if the thrill or excitement keeps me going or keeps me terrified. But
how do you come down from all of that? How do you separate yourself from those stressors? How do you unwind? Like, how do you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like rest and reset and recharge, man?
Well, I try to. I've something I've tried to do more of, and it's helped with getting employees. Is really at nighttime I try to turn off a little bit. It's something you go down this rabbit hole of seeing all these, whether it be motivational speakers or people that tell you need to work 24/7, and there's always things to be and do, and like it's like yes and no. And I think it's important to unwind. I think there's always like make sure you don't have fires you need to put out, but it's important that I used to think that if I did anything like watch a TV show at nighttime, I mean, when you lived with me, you saw like I was in a much different I had significantly less overall work and stress, but with you, remember I was just in my room editing videos or doing something 24/7. I was putting out 4 videos a week. I had no time to do anything else because I thought if I would go to brunch with you and May or go out to eat that I gotta film, I gotta do all these things. And it's okay that you take some time and relax and enjoy the fruits of your labors. But yeah, I try to relax at nighttime. I think Sunday is a great example of a Sunday I truly try to just completely unwind and de-stress.
On the other side of those cameras is the couch that we've been chilling on all day. Sunday, case in point.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach.
100%.
Speaking of the good old days, when you and I were living together, when all of this, so much of this for you was just in its infancy, knowing what you know now, would you go back and change anything? Would you give younger Max any different advice to work harder, work smarter, rest more? Would you change any of it?
I don't think so. And the thing is, no matter how like stressed you are in the day with your business, you kind of got to ask yourself, like, this is the path you chose. And assuming in a perfect world, good world, that it's only going to grow, right? Your stress is you're never going to get less. It's always going to be, you're only going to get more headaches, more not like literal headaches, but like, business headaches
or actual
more
headaches.
Complications, more stress, more costs, more overhead. Like it's only like, unless you plan on getting to a happy point in your business and staying, which I think a lot of people, I don't know, my thoughts on business growth, because not everyone needs to grow a $100 million business. Not everyone needs to grow a $10 million business. Like there's plenty of businesses that have been thriving forever. And like when you start doing your own entrepreneurship, you think just every year you need to double, or you're going to be like failure. And at some point, like, I don't know, it's like, what level are you happy at? What level, and some people think plateauing is such a bad word, but the level of stress that I have some of my friends at, that I see the level of their company, I ask myself, I tell myself, I don't think I want that stress. And it's like, not that I don't want my company to grow like that, but either
is it a plateau or a choice? Is it a plateau or choosing to maintain?
It's something that like you find that struggle with, and how big do you want to grow your brands? And it's easy to be like, I want to be the biggest thing ever, but that's a big path you're going down, and it's not for everyone. And there's a reason why there's only X amount of companies that are these massive, because you got to take that choice. And if you're already like stressed out and you're like, oh, I can't handle all this, then how are you going to grow to be even bigger?
Going down a path is very key there. And when I found when I have gone down a path, it's because, especially when it's my choice, right? When you're doing a side hustle, or it's your full business, or just a passion project, whatever, that path usually begets another path, and that path begets another path.
Begets? Is that a word?
It is. Yeah. I went to grad school, everybody. Max.
Begets.
That's what I learned.
It's like the bread in Paris, right?
Every path you go down, you get a foot-long baguette, and then you level up and you get to go to the next path. It's you didn't go to that level in Sodom?
No. Okay. Keep going.
But if you're choosing, like if you're aware enough and you're conscious enough and you're kind of like, I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to have a little bit of the tunnel vision to stay focused and to go down that path, but also keeping your blinders off can open up new opportunities. And I've seen that so much for you over the years is you've started down one thing, and that one thing has allowed for, or you've kind of taken a pause and like, oh, a lot of this stuff is working. I can create something new. And you carve out another path. what is maybe a new path right now you think you're going down? Because you're in Sour Strips is now.
I can't baguette down any more paths, dude.
Oh, that's right. You're cutting right now. You can't have any more carbs.
Yeah, no,
no more
I
bread.
want to.
But just like take a pause right now. Seriously, take a pause right now and think. You're in Sour Strips year 3?
No, not even
Year 2? You're in year 2.
I'm in year 2.
Okay.
We have not been in full 2 years yet.
So in year 2 of your new business, you're in year 6 of your first one, and probably like year 7, I guess, of the personal brand.
Year
kind
7,
of
year 8,
so,
yeah.
So 8 years total of brands, of business, of growth. Take a pause right now and seriously think, like, what maybe like collective underlying theme is there? What is something that if you were to carve out a new one, what would it be? Is there a common denominator there? Are they all exclusive, or where could you go next if you wanted to?
I don't know. I truly don't think I can start any more businesses.
Yeah.
I don't think I can really give my time to anything else. I just don't. I mean, even this damn candy thing has been, its success has impacted.
Are so good, by the way.
But the success of this has
So good.
impacted the success of my clothing, right? You know, and I had to.
So the success of one path is kind of, would you say, kind of hampering the success of another one?
100%. And it's because my focus.
Wait, is hampering a word?
You put your clothes in it, yeah. It is made me focus on something else and put more time into it. And I put the clothing on a kind of like a back burner for so long, and the numbers don't lie. It's like we dropped like 50-60% in revenue.
Wow.
Which is, catastrophic for a business. And luckily I'm fortunate enough that the drop of that was because of the catapulsive nature, if that's a word,
We're going to have so many
thing.
spell checks on this episode.
of this brand. So it's like a blessing. So it's made me realize that I can't do everything. And that's when you start really realizing you need help. And you also just figure out what's the most useful points of your time,
You've had so much professional growth over the years and been very business oriented and business minded for years. We've been talking about that a lot. What about personal, Max?
Oh, we're going down this path.
What about
man?
We've been talking about past, and here's your next baguette. Come on over to the other side. What about like personal, Max? Let's say tomorrow you wake up and it's still all there, but you physically don't need to be there, and like in your soul, in your mind, the business owner mind, that I don't need to be there. Like I don't need to work. I don't need to do anything. Like what would personal Max do?
Like I'm retired?
No. Like you've set things in place. The team is there. Operations are smooth. You literally don't need to do anything. And as a business owner, it's a very hard concept because there's always something we can do, right? But just pretend that it's like that. What would you do? Like, is there something personal to yourself,
like a personal achievement that I want to do, or
that's something that you would want to do? How would you fill your time outside of filling it with business?
Well, if you put a camera up in this house and you saw my Sunday when I'm just sitting on my phone on my couch and just doing nothing, that's exactly what it is.
But like, would you want to? I want to learn a new skill. I want to play an instrument. I want to read. I want to do this.
There's a lot of things that I want to do, but then I go down the path and I realize that I want to do them more than I actually will do them.
Okay.
I tried learning the piano a couple years ago, and I find it fascinating that people can play the piano. I'm jealous of people that can play piano. I think it's a beautiful instrument. I love the way it sounds. I love everything about it. And I was like, I want to learn how to play piano. And I bought a little keyboard, and I started taking piano lessons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then I just realized that I was like, I want to play the piano more than I want to learn how to play the piano. I don't know, and that's something that goes back to where I'm not good at a lot of things like instruments and all that. Is like I know people have this view of me that I make all these videos and I do, but like I don't have a lot of hobbies. Like I work on my businesses, and I play some video games every now and then, but I don't have like this one thing like that I can just shut off from the world and do this for hours. Right. And like, it's like, and I'm just like, like Christian, for example, can play the guitar for like hours and hours and hours. And like, if he had the hours to do that, and he goes in this world, and some people play the piano and some people draw and some people write. And like, I don't have anything like that. And I think about it a lot. Like, I'm like, I don't fabricate anymore. I don't.
What do I like?
It's a weird thing. It's like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I sit on the couch for just hours, and I'm like, scroll through social media for 3 of them, and then I'm just sitting there bored, and I'm like, I really want like a hobby, like something to like tinker with, and I don't have it. And I don't know. So that's why I just like, well, I guess I'll go to the office.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'll work on that. And like, I do love my businesses, but it's like, there's a difference, there's not like, I do love working on my businesses, and I love doing the branding thing, but it'd be cool to find something that I thoroughly enjoyed that was a 100% stress-free, enjoyable thing, and I don't know what that is.
All right. Well, maybe we'll carve out some more Sunday fun days, and you can get some time exploring those options.
I don't think drinking margaritas is a acceptable hobby. I like playing with my dog.
Coming from the guy who has a massive margarita machine just right over there.
Yeah. No margarita mix though.
Yeah, true. Okay. Got to keep it out of the house again. You're kidding.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll tell you, man, over the last about year and a half, I've seen like a tremendous change in you. I've seen,
not physically.
Well, no, I mean, you're still small as ever.
Yeah, okay.
But, I've seen like a tremendous change in you. I've seen almost, I'll say, like a clarity, like almost like a calmness to you has kind of happened, in the sense that, I mean, you're busier than ever, I think is a very fair statement, but just how you go about things and how I see you make time for other things. Like case in point, allowing, like, I visited you multiple times over the last couple of years, and just, I know what it's like when people come visit me and I'm trying to run things and do things. It's a distraction. It kind of feels like, oh, I need to take care of you, do all these things.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times when like people come, they're kind of like, oh, act like I'm not even here, but it's like you can't, like, it's like
exactly.
I can't just continue on my normal day, not in a bad way, but I do alter my time. So yeah.
But that's what I've noticed a lot, and just how I kind of just as a big brother, as a friend, and like anybody I think who's known you for years would probably see that there's been like a great shift. And
what Chase is actually saying is, I've become less of an asshole over the years. The busier that I get, the more I'm what's the word? Self-seated?
Conceited?
Conceited. And
Self-seated?
Just, like, into myself.
He shares his beignets with us finally. His baguette's finally with us now.
Yeah.
But like seriously, honestly, I don't think I've told you this. Like seriously, there's just like a calmness to you and a clarity to you, in that I know without a shadow of doubt you are in your calling, doing your thing, and like thriving. But it seems like you've been able to kind of just like take a breath for a while and honestly enjoy the fruits of your labor. And the biggest way that I see you do that is sharing the fruits of your labor in terms of your time, resources, and just hospitality with the people that matter most to you. So I just want to give you that compliment, first of all.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Trying on here.
And, now that, knowing that, like, outside people, or at least I see you kind of making more space, making more time for all of that, do you think you want to use that anymore? Do you think now can take the gas off a little bit? Can you enjoy the fruits of your labor a little bit more, how you want to, and maybe with the people that you would want to?
Not really. Prime example is that, like, I've had a lot of friends over the past, pandemic aside, I've had a lot of friends over the past couple weeks or months, or say, hey, I'm going to Mexico. You should come with me. And I'm like, I can't.
I invited you to Jamaica with us.
And I can't. It's not because I don't want to go. It's just I feel like I don't deserve to go anywhere. And I hate when I say that, because then I feel like when I say something like that of like, oh, I'm so busy, I feel like it almost says like, you're not as busy as I am, so you can go on vacation. Like, you're not in a role like I am, so you can go on vacation, but I can't, kind of like, but it's not like that. It's more of just like a internal mental thing that I don't feel like I deserve to go do something. I can get away for a day or something, but like I can't go turn off, because I want to go do that, and I want to turn off for like 5 days, but I'm just so stressed out at the moment that I feel like I would just be obsessed with my phone, and so I'm not there yet, but I think I want to be, and hopefully I can, but yeah, soon.
If you're not there yet, I'll interpret that as you maybe haven't quite crossed a finish line that you have in your mind. You haven't quite reached your version of success.
Yeah.
What is your version of success? How do you define it, and how will you know when you can actually, yeah, let's go to Jamaica. Yeah, let's take time off. Like, how do you define success, and when will you know you've achieved it?
I don't know. I mean, I've always been someone that success isn't determined by wealth and money, and it's happiness and fulfillment, and but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm fulfilled yet with everything that I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm where I want to be, but I don't know where I want to be. Like with all the different businesses, I don't know where they need to get to, where I'm going to be like, wow, we're crushing it, and not like, more, like, and, I don't know.
Food for thought, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and kind of get back to like your origin, where all this started. And we actually I'm a horrible host. I didn't even like officially like, hey, welcome to the show, introduce yourself, because there may be one or two people who don't know who you are, who are listening and watching. But you got your start on social media. You got your start making YouTube videos.
Yep.
Fitness, men's lifestyle, kind of stuff like that. How much have you seen your creativity grow? How much have you seen the platform grow in general? What, 6 years, 7 years?
Between 7 and 8. I think I started like late 2012, early 2013.
Looking back, like through the creative lens, how far would you say you have come, and like what have been some just like your biggest, like, I don't know, breakthroughs in the YouTube platform and creativity as a content creator, and just on the platform as a whole? Like, do you think it is progressing? Have you seen profound change, or is it kind of stagnant? Or what's your kind of opinion on the whole content creator world?
It's definitely shifted a lot. I mean, a prime example is that I started in YouTube exclusively making fitness content, very short format, 6 to 8 minute videos, just in the gym. Then started incorporating, some, hey, I'm going into the gym. Here's me in the car talking a little bit. And then people would yell at me. There's like less talking, more lifting. Like we just want to hear a voiceover. And then I started incorporating more in my life. And, now it's funny. I started with only fitness, and now fitness is most videos you're going to get a 1 minute segment that has to do with fitness, but fitness, the rest of it's going to be kind of like my life and some quirky entertainment.
No longer the centerpiece, huh?
So it's evolved a lot, and it's good because I think I've not only gotten better at my craft of creating videos, and as much as people think it's and it is this, but I've just kind of running around and doing basically doing pointless things that people are somehow interested in, right? Yeah. But I think people get addicted to the story of someone's life, especially in the vlog world, where I didn't go down the path of shock value type of content where each piece of every video needs one specific major crazy thing happening to wow the audience every single time. I think I don't know. There's some people that may go down that path because, again, they're chasing this monetary success, and it's probably a quicker path to it. But as far as longevity and enjoyability, you're always gonna be like one-upping yourself.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas my path, once I realized I could embrace truly who I am and my personality, and not everything, because again, I was like, oh my god, like people only want to see me deadlift and lift weights and stuff, and when I can't, what happens if I get injured? Like, what happens if I can't PR anymore? Like, I'm only going to get to some point. Like, I'll no longer be a strong guy.
Are they going to still watch?
Yeah, exactly. And so it was like a blessing that I started incorporating more of my life into the videos, and people started really liking it. And now all my content is very much of a balance between, there's a big picture thing of if you're a follower of a continual multiple videos where you see the big picture of what I'm doing. Each video is a little piece of the chapter of growing towards this end goal that it's not a definite thing, that you're just kind of seeing the evolution. And
it's
then
like this endless endeavor, this ongoing pursuit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always kind of leveling up and doing stuff. And then there's the other aspects of my video that it's just kind of quirky, funny, entertaining, some slapstick kind of like humor, kind of, immature a little bit. And I find that balance, and audience seems to really like it. And, I think YouTube has changed a lot. The biggest catalyst has definitely been growing my network of friends and people that I've surrounded myself with that started were in this industry that a little bit before me that I looked up to and watched on YouTube, and now they're some of my best friends, and it's been a cool shift. And it's also unfortunate that the people I looked up to that started before me that had such potential have kind of let it slip in my eyes, and they have, I don't want to say fallen off, but they just didn't continue to maximize their potential as much as maybe someone like myself
they got distracted by another baguette.
Exactly, dude. Like
drop.
And it sucks, and it's crazy because they were like crushing it in their field in like the fitness industry, and now it's just I'm always just like, wow, like you could have been like the top tier person you were, and you just should have kept in that path, but you just let it slip, and but you don't know what kind of people have going on and how into that they are. I'm very into the social media thing. I very much enjoy it. I like being in the limelight. I like being a person of
entertainer.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it.
You always have been.
Yeah, but it's you have to balance the people telling you suck with the people telling you that they love the video at the same time.
Yeah, how do you deal with haters? How do you deal with people that tell you quite literally you suck?
Yeah, well, I've come to realization that I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I think there's a lot of different factors that when you really look at it, I mean, there's people that just can't wrap their head around why someone would care about what I'm making. There's people that, think that everything about me is like an act, and it's all, I'm just, acting this way on camera to be this childish thing. And I'm like, well, if I've been acting for 7 years, that's a long role to keep going, and I think
the show's not getting canceled anytime soon.
And like a lot of people who are kind of more down to earth are like, okay, like he's not like, what's up, guys? Like we're gonna go do this, like they have a kind of YouTube mode. I kick up my personality a little bit, but I think for the most people that follow me, they wouldn't say Max is identical in his videos. He's not as upbeat, but for the most part, like I am very quirky, weird, say dumb things, do funny things, and but you're gonna get hate no matter what. I mean, I put out a video of a memory to dad, and it's got 500 dislikes or something, and it's like, in what world in this video of like my late father, that of like what a message means to me, why would someone dislike this, right? It's like in what world, right? I always say, like, you could have a video of you, the whole video could be like rescuing kittens from like a river, and people would be like, wait, maybe they want to be rescued, and like, I hate this video.
Don't F with cats.
So you're always going to have people that just like hate on whatever you're doing, and usually whenever I have a really supportive audience, and whenever someone really hates on me, I'm just like, you must be new here, kind of thing. Like if people kind of come in and we're
gonna let that one slide.
People judge me on everything, man. People have been, I look the same that I have like 5 years ago. I haven't progressed as fast as someone wants me to in my strength. I'm only doing this because I'm trying to do. You're just gonna get everything, and I feel like, again, as long as you're a good person, your morals, and that's different for every person. But I know I'm a good person. I know I'm doing good, bringing positivity into the world, and leaving a hopefully a lasting impression on a lot of people. And like I said, some people hate the clothing thing because it's cheap Chinese clothing you can get for 50 cents anywhere, and I'm like, okay, man, like I've employed tons of people, like like why do you have to get so angry at everything?
You're an angry elf.
Yeah, and so I know I'm doing good.
Yeah, and I do too, for sure. And in that wake of content creation and the haters, there's way more, I would say, people that you inspire. And anybody who puts himself out there, you're going to inspire at least one person, because they're going to see some version of themselves in you and a possibility. So I know you've met so many people in person and let you know online. Because of you, I'm doing this. Because of your YouTube channel, I'm starting a YouTube channel. Because of your photography, videography, I'm picking up a camera, I'm editing. It's been an inspiration for me to do something or land a job or whatever. Particularly through the content creation channel, what would you say is like the biggest mistake you see people making now that maybe could help them right now? And what is one thing that you see is working really well that people, hey, you absolutely should be making this like the crux of your work kind of thing?
I think they all kind of intertwine together with just being yourself. And I don't know, it's easy to look at someone like me and, oh, I'm like specific to YouTube and social media. And whenever I talk about any sort of thing where I try to get like a little bit motivational and I try to like tell people to kind of like, if I can do it, you can do it. And people kind of say, oh, you got lucky with this and blah, 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 blah. But I feel like I'm the true definition of someone who, like, if I can make it, anyone can make it. Because people today saw me in my channel forever ago. I lived in a shitty house with my roommates on Norton Street, right? Like the trap house days. Like I didn't have money. I lived in a gross house, like doing this stuff, and I slowly like kept just working and working and working and working, and like I've gotten to this point, and I still have a lot to go. And like everyone thinks when I'm kind of telling people to kind of go after it and be yourself, all that, they're like, oh, I can't make YouTube videos. I'm like, it's not about making YouTube videos. It's about just finding your craft and doing what, brings you fulfillment. And a lot of times you go down a path and it's not maybe the one for you. I mean, even you're a great example. You've had tremendous success with this podcast thing, but you kind of started going down the path of like just finding what you wanted to do. And you started kind of like vlogging, and then you found like that wasn't really what like your thing. Like your thing was talking to the people in this format, right? And it took you kind of like doing that to land you with something.
I had to do all those things that I realized that I didn't want to do.
Yeah, and it's not that people
do.
don't succeed at it, but like it's like that helped get you to the point of finding this, which is your calling and your true success, and inspiring a lot of people. And and I think a lot of people are too afraid to kind of go down a path that might not work out to find the thing that truly can set them free in a sense, right?
I agree. I mean, this isn't my interview, but like you just said, so truly, I now tell people, excuse me, I'm a full-time podcaster. And when I think back to all the seasons of my life, from being, both of us just young boys growing up in the country of Virginia, to being a soldier for 6 years, to then being a health coach for many years after that, working in the health and fitness space, to dabbling in social media, all that stuff, to now like all of those things, I guess what I'm trying to say, all of those things led me to all the baguettes. And really finding, this is going to be the most weird title for the episode, finding your baguette in life, your magical baguette. And it's not like, many people can look at them as, I failed at this and I got to start something new. I failed at this. But if you choose to look at it as, I'm going to pull as much from this experience and opportunity that I can, and take with it the things that light me up, and learn from the things that don't. And then like it filters down and filters down and filters down until ultimately one day you just realize, or maybe we're just speaking for ourselves here, that I love what I do. I love what I do, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
And to be honest, nowadays, I hate being like the old timer, but I'm like, it's even easier for people. When I started what I did back in the day when I was 23, everyone who's 21 and 23 right now should be able to excel way faster than I ever did.
15, 16-year-olds are excelling way faster.
Yeah. Heck yeah, dude.
TikTok. So,
Charlie D'Amelio's making light years more money than I'll ever make. Dude. Like, and, it's, even back then, it's like, I didn't even have, I remember back in my day, we didn't have Instagram stories. It was just a picture you would post, and that was it, And you have so many more tools that are at your fingertips.
We didn't have a swipe up feature.
I know. Nope, you didn't. And now it should be easier than ever to excel at a rapid pace, because you have all these tools at your disposal.
There shouldn't be the same excuses as like a lot of people maybe like we had. There are so many more tools at your disposal to just like take opportunity, explore, fail forward, like figure out what you don't like to do so that you can pull out of it just one little thing that you do, and then just go on with that,
100%, man.
Which kind of I think is a great segue into towards the end here, man. I want to say thanks again for your time, as always, for your hospitality, 5-star Airbnb reviewer. Absolutely.
Thanks.
And so you're the only person that I can ask this question that actually has like kind of the same tie-in as me. And I ask all my guests at the end, ever forward, live a life ever forward. What does that mean to you? So we've had it 2 times before now. And for anybody that wants to catch the other episodes, I'll list them down in the show notes for you. I forget off the top of my head what numbers they were, but years ago. So now, man, I mean, you're a 31-year-old man, now a multiple business owner, a homeowner, a dog dad. Like, your life has changed so much. Does that definition mean anything different to you now? How do you live a life ever forward, Max?
I would say that it's always meant to me to constantly push myself and, continue moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. But I think now it has the impact of keep challenging yourself, keep the pressure on, and know that it's only going to get tougher the further I go down this rabbit hole. But this is the life that I chose, and this is the legacy that I'll say, dumb YouTuber again, legacy, right? This is the impact that I'll leave behind in whatever aspect of whether it's the people that I've employed, the lives that I've maybe inspired to do things, or starting a business that, has this ripple effect out into the world. And it's only going to get tougher from here, but I'm going to keep my head down and keep pushing forward. And, I'm ready for the next day, and not afraid of no failures and challenges, man.
There's the Virginia boy coming out.
Yeah.
It comes out of me every once in a while too, man. Well, again, thanks for coming back on, dude. I love you. It's been just wild to see you grow up and be so successful and have all these amazing learning experiences. I'm gonna wait. I had something in mind I was gonna tell you, but I actually think I'm gonna table it. This trip gave me a very, very cool idea for a birthday present for you this year. And I was going to tell you, I had a little tie-in to
Is it the DJI remote control with the built-in screen? Because I really want that. And I'm about to buy it now, but if you're going to get that from me, I'll hold off.
That reminds me of years ago, all of our birthday and Christmas wish lists. We would just share our Amazon wish list. You're so not subtle. Hey, I couldn't get your Amazon link. Send me the link of the thing that you want. Yeah. We just it's the whole point out of gift giving. But so it's been really, really great, man. I always enjoy spending time with you, and just congratulations again, man. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. Do you want to hang out after the show?
Yeah, so we're going to hit end. We're just going to go over there and chill on the couch.
We got pizza tonight. Going to finish out this relaxing Sunday.
So I'm going to have all the information down in the show notes for everybody to check out, and the other 2 interviews. The last one was actually very heavily, it was more so focused on like social media tactics. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of the business stuff, but it was more like social media, tangible goods. And the first episode was kind of like storyline stuff. So if anybody's curious, but if they don't know who you are and they want to check you out, like where can they go right now to learn more about you? Where are you hanging out the most online?
You can just search my name, Maxx Chewning, or search Max 2 X's. Yeah. The biggest channels to find me on, YouTube. Just search me on YouTube. That's where I have the most interest in. Instagram as well, but Instagram and YouTube, Maxx Chewning.
Cool. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Well, aggressive.